that. Hopefully I'm not drowning too many of you out. Come back to me, Andy, if that is still too loud, or I'll try and talk a little bit softer. So as I say, it's a reality check for those of you looking, and for those of you in the business, some things that you may want to remember that your prospects are facing right now out there in the real world, as I call it. First of all, I just want to give you a little bit of our Clean Easy journey. For those of you who don't know our story, our background is Fiona worked in pharmaceutical market research with a company called Fisons, and I was a national accounts manager with EMI Music in London. Now, just a little bit about that. At the time I was working at EMI, I was commuting either on a daily basis from Leicester down to London, and that meant getting through Luton at 7 o'clock in the morning on the M1 to be in my office by 9 o'clock just off Manchester Square. Now, invariably what I did was I would leave home on a Sunday night, probably about sort of 9 o'clock in the evening. I'd drive down with everybody else who was going down the M1 towards London. I'd check into a hotel on the Cromwell Road, and I would be there at my office on Monday morning at 8 o'clock. And very often I would stay in that hotel all week until Friday afternoon, when my boss had a habit of calling a managers meeting about 4 o'clock on a Friday, which would drag on, and eventually I'd leave the office and get back home on a Friday night, probably about 9 o'clock. And my weekends were literally spent in a recovery until that Sunday night, 9 o'clock, when I headed back down the motorway again. Now, I didn't question that at the time. It was a great job. I loved it. It paid very well. I had a beautiful company car. And then I had a real, one of those defining moments in your life when things happen and you think, my gosh, why am I doing it? For me, it was that my wife at that time, Helen, contracted ovarian cancer. And without getting too emotional about it, within 12 months, Helen lost her life before her 30th birthday. Now, I've been working hard. I've been driving down to London. I've been doing all the things I've been telling you about, because I had a plan that probably age 50, 55, I could retire and we could spend a wonderful retirement together. But you see, that little saying that I've heard before, man plans and God smiles. You know, whether you believe in the man upstairs or not, things don't always work out as we plan them. And so that gave me a reality check about what my life was all about, what direction I was going in. And shortly after that, the opportunity came up for me to take a redundancy from EMI, and I took that. Gave me some time to put in some charity work. I opened Helen Webb House, a cancer centre in Leicester, which is still there, providing palliative care and a telephone support line to this day. However, the bills still had to be paid. I didn't want to go back into the real world. What I wanted to do was still have the time and the flexibility to do the things that I wanted to do for myself. So I set up my own business. I won't go into great details about that, but a guy in my village came around to see me one day. He was selling his wholesale mail order operation. I bought it off him with the aid of a bank loan, and set up my own business. Hadn't got a clue what I was doing, but you learn pretty fast when you have to. Now, it was a great business, but it was seasonal. I was selling gift wrap, ribbons, bows, that kind of thing. And you've got to believe me, there's nothing deader than Christmas gift wrap on December the 26th. So my cash flow was incredibly erratic. It was great sort of, you know, throughout the autumn months, and then it was absolutely dire throughout the summer months. There was also an awful lot of risk with it. I was visiting buying fairs in Frankfurt in January, was placing orders for stock up front, was having to pay for it up front because I hadn't got a great sort of massive track record behind me in business. And then I had to estimate how much stock I wanted to bring on board so I could sell it all by the end of that Christmas window. And if not, then we had a real headache. And the business had loads and loads and loads of headaches, but I haven't got time to go into that tonight. And then subsequently met Fiona. Fiona was made redundant from Fisons. We got married and we had this great gift wrap business, but we didn't have a lot of lifestyle money left over. We had enough to pay the bills, but we didn't have any lifestyle money left over. And then one day a prospecting letter came through my door from a guy called Jack Hood. It said, we understand you're somebody who is professional and entrepreneurial, might be interested in making a good primary or secondary income without any financial exposure. And I said to Fiona, this looks great. I gave the guy a ring, and Jack said to us, well, it's a company called Clean Easy. Got to be honest, I never heard of Clean Easy. And he said, well, we've got an opportunity meeting tomorrow in Coventry, why don't you come down and have a look? So I said to Fiona, well, look, you know, the guy's going to buy us a glass of wine and a beer, isn't he? So let's go. It'll be a laugh. And I guess it's probably going to be like one of these hooping, hyping, hollering meetings where people jump up and down on chairs and woo, I've just won a Porsche Boxster and what have you. Let's go and have a laugh. So we went to the meeting. We didn't have a laugh. We were massively impressed with what we saw. And from that moment on, we got stuck in with Clean Easy. Our current PIN level, as you can see there, is Silver Senior Executive Distributor. And as Andy's already mentioned, we've been privileged to qualify for no less than 12 all expenses paid overseas conferences with Clean Easy. Now, our highest 4 weekly income has been £6,600. And as Andy said, we are still part-time. I made a conscious decision that when I sold my gift wrap business a few years back, I wanted to have the time to put into my charity work. I want to have the time to walk with my gorgeous black Labrador Jake and enjoy a quality of life that I missed when I was working with EMI. So that's why we're part-time. And we were massively privileged to be awarded the SED Leaders Trophy for 2008 and 2009. So that's a little bit about our Clean Easy journey. Now, when we present this business to people, and if you're looking at the business tonight, you know, not everybody sees it the first time. I'm just going to show you something now on the screen. I want you to take a look at it. And if you've got a notepad with you, I want to write down what you see. I'm going to show you a series of grey blobs. And I'm just going to put it on the screen for a few seconds. And I want you to write down what you see. Here it comes now. Okay, look at the grey blobs. I want you to write down what you see. Okay, I hope you've all got something on your paper. I don't know if the text is working at the moment. Can anybody kind of type up what they saw? Okay, Rachel fly, Zoe fly, Teresa fly, Craig fly, Kerry fly. That's fantastic. You guys are so bright. Is anybody honest enough with me to just put a question mark in the text if you didn't see anything? If you didn't see fly, can't see fly, question mark? Okay, question mark, Phil didn't see it. Slim and Di didn't, Neil Young didn't, Emma. Okay, so look, you know, we've got what, 180 odd people on the conference call tonight. Some of you saw the word fly and some of you can't see fly. Let me just show you that slide again. And maybe this time you want to look at the white shapes in between the grey. Now, if I was in a meeting room tonight, I'd be pointing this out to you. F-L-Y. Oh, yes, says Katrina and Ian. Now we see it. Very clever, says Andrew. And you know what? Someone still can't see it. Now, that's exactly the way it's going to be with your Clean Easy business, guys. Not everybody will see the opportunity first time. Sometimes you've got to spend a bit of time explaining it and pointing it out. And sometimes that time will be months or even years. It took Peter and Jackie White, I believe, something like 5 years until they saw that the Clean Easy business was right for them. So, you know, message number one is never, ever give up on your prospects. And don't get frustrated like Emma, who still can't see fly. You know, you got it now, Mel's got it now. Okay, let's have a look at another one. Everybody knows this. This is iconic. This baffled me for years because people said to me, what do you see? Do you see the old hag with the pointed chin and the big nose? Or do you see the side face of the beautiful young woman wearing a fur stole? And you know what? For years, I couldn't see anything. Yet, Suzanne, now I see both like you do. But for years, I couldn't. And again, we have to point out what is perhaps obvious to us. We have to be patient to show other people. Now, let me show you what the Clean Easy business has done for Fiona and myself, and let me show you what it can do for you. I want to take you back to 1994, and here's a slide coming up with, oh, it's going to go back to that. Here's a slide coming up with one of my paychecks from EMI Music. Now, it's fairly small, but I've highlighted the figures there. It was on the 31st of August in 1994 when my top line paycheck was £1,705. And you'd probably agree with me that for all that time, 1994, £1,705 a month was good income. But remember the price I was paying. Okay, I was paying a big price personally. Now let me move you on to one of my Clean Easy certificates of income. This was in 2009 when the cheque was £6,601.28. Fiona let me have the 28 pence. Okay, fantastic. Now, what I want to do is I want to do a little bit of maths on this. I'm sure there will be some of you out there who are still in the real world. Now, I'm still in contact with quite a few of my ex-colleagues at EMI. And you know what? For the past 10 years, the average pay rise at EMI has been 3% year on year. 3% year on year. Now, I was at the Birmingham BOM last week, and a young lady in the front row said to me when I asked this question, what's average pay rise in the real world? She said to me, I have had a pay freeze for the last 3 years. So remember, I'm talking to you about the prospects that you're going to be seeing, or maybe I'm talking to you about yourself and your personal situation. But let's take that 3%. Had I stayed with EMI back in 1994, had I not taken the redundancy, and had I, benefited from that 3% pay rise year on year, here's what would have happened. Okay, remember the cheque was £1,705 for my month's income in 1994. If we had 3% compound effect on that every year by 2008, that would have risen to £2,578. And do you know what? Here's a scary thought. The monthly income with EMI at 3% year on year would not reach Clean Easy's $6,600 until the year 2040. By which time, and I know you'll find this hard to believe, I would be 79. You see, ladies and gentlemen, the Clean Easy opportunity has already brought me back over 30 years of my life. That's 30 years to do what I want to do with. Now, hey, that's a historic paycheck of mine. I've been looking around just to see what the real world is offering right now. And I went online to the Leicester Mercury yesterday just to have a look at what sort of jobs they were offering in the jobs website. Now, there's two adverts here. I don't know if you can see them. The first one is an inbound customer service advisor for Santander. And it says at Santander, we're aiming to make things simpler. We want to make it easier for our customers to do business with us, so there'll be no more banking jargon and more straightforward advice. And as the first point of contact for our customers, you will use your excellent customer service skills to help them with their queries. So you're going to be the first point of contact for an international bank, and for that, they're offering the staggering salary of £13,500 per annum. Ladies and gentlemen, that's sound a little like Michael Cathcart then for a minute. Ladies and gentlemen, that's £1,125 a month for all that responsibility. Now, here's RBS. I mean, I tell you what, no wonder the fat cats in banking can earn such massive bonuses, is because they absolutely pay their staff absolutely crap money. Sorry, I said the four-letter word there. But look at this, RBS, complaints handler. Oh boy, would you like to be the complaints handler for a major bank? Complaint handler, Leicestershire, permanent, starting salary £14,788. By my reckoning, that's £1,232 a month for all that hassle. Now, that's the real world. That's what the real world is offering and delivering, without security, with massive pressure, and with very poor incomes. You know, you can become a gold distributor with Clean Easy, turning over £10,000 a month, and you can be earning that sort of money part-time. And that's reality. There's umpteen amounts of proof out there. So, you know, just think about it. When you're prospecting people, when you're talking to people, maybe that's the kind of salary they're on. You know, they're not going to tell you up front, but that's the reality for responsible jobs right now. Now, if you're in the workplace like I was, and you're thinking ultimately you see Clean Easy as your way out, you know what's a great idea is to write a resignation letter. Now, I'm going to come up with a resignation letter for you now. The key to this is write it, date it at some point in the future, but don't send it yet. Okay, don't send it too soon. You know, build your income up with Clean Easy while you're still working. Otherwise, you'll cut off a massive amount of your warm market. And when your income with Clean Easy is secure and more than you're earning full time with your job, then you can sack the boss. But I find it's great to actually have your letter written out. Now, some people haven't got a clue what to say, so here's one you might like to copy. This one just says, "Dear boss, last night in bed, your wife told me you'd found out about our affair and were going to fire me today. You've not been getting much satisfaction recently, so I haven't spoiled the trend. Well, this is my letter of resignation. Don't worry about a reference. I'll tell you now, she's really marvellous. Fred Smith." Okay, you didn't get that from me, and don't send it, but hey, we're going to have a bit of fun in this thing, haven't we? So maybe you want to write your resignation letter. So sometimes people say to me, why do I have to pay to work with Clean Easy? Well, obviously, clearly people are not understanding that they're getting involved in a business, and for really pocket money investment, they're buying a business that gives them unlimited income, a massive potential. So I just thought, let's have a look at what other businesses are out there. This one caught my eye. As many of you know, I'm a dog lover with Jake, my black Labrador. And here's a business for sale right now in Milton Keynes, successful mobile dog grooming business. Okay, busy mobile dog grooming franchise for sale, covers Milton Keynes and South North Fants, has a customer database of around 1,300 with a regular whatever. Asking price, £17,500. 17.5 grand, like you're going to have that in your back pocket. Ladies and gentlemen, you know, we need to share this opportunity with people, because right now, until 9:15 on Thursday evening, you can join the Clean Easy business for a special offer price of just £99 with 200 catalogues. Absolutely awesome. This dog business has got, what, 1,300 client base, it says. Well, let's suppose that they all had their dog washed once a month, which they probably don't. But if you divide that by 4, that's 325 clients a week. If you go to work 5 days, you're going to wash 65 dogs a week. Well, let me tell you, occasionally I wash my dog. I would not want to wash 65 a day. No way. No way. But that's the reality. This one always makes me laugh. Wednesday is our bin collection day, so tomorrow is quite an exciting day for me. This is a little bit sad, because at about 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon I shall sneak up to the back office window and have a look outside as the guy with the wheelie bin cleaning business comes round. I always have to have a little look, because he's got this van which is converted, and he sort of puts the wheelie bin in like that at an angle, and then he gets a pressure gun and he sprays at high pressure our wheelie bin and other people's wheelie bins. And I know I'm naughty, but it kind of all splashes back in his face, and I kind of know what goes in our bin. But hey, you know, at least he's out there making a living, and I don't want to poke fun at that. But what I do want to do is make the point that, look, you know, £99 to start a Clean Easy business, which will give you unlimited income, or you can start a wheelie bin company for, what's the price there? £5,975 plus VAT. That's about £7,170 loose change, if you're interested. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the real world. These are the options that people are facing. Now, I want to look at a couple of other things very quickly. This was a letter that I received a few years back. I don't know how clearly you can see that on your screens, but it was from the pension service, and it was giving me a projection of what my state pension is going to be when I retire. I got really excited about this, and I looked at the figures, and then I noticed that it says that my weekly pension is going to be £84.04. £84.04. You know, that wouldn't even cover my whiskey bill on New Year's Eve. But that's the reality for people who haven't made sufficient pension provision for their old age. How many people are you talking to who have received letters like that and have kind of put it to the back of their mind because they daren't face the reality of what's around the corner for them? Or maybe you know people, or maybe you're one of those people who've had an endowment mortgage. Okay, when I met Fiona got her own home up in Derbyshire, and she'd been sold an endowment mortgage. They told her it was a really great option, until letters like this started coming through. Red alert, high risk of a shortfall. I'm really sorry, Mrs. Webb, but the fantastic plan that we sold you umpteen years ago is going to nowhere near clear your mortgage. Oh my gosh. Well, thankfully, Clean Easy have cleared that mortgage for us. So that property has no mortgage on it anymore. And so that Friends Provident endowment is now a savings plan for us, except it's a savings plan that will probably be about 17 grand less than it would have been had that been right. But you know, for prospects out there who are facing that reality of wondering how they can make up that shortfall, we have a great answer. It's called Clean Easy. Okay, so I just want to have a quick look at some numbers. Numbers are always interesting to look at. I think everybody knows Avon Cosmetics. They're a fantastic direct selling association company, as are Clean Easy. And these are the last data I could find. But globally, they've been turning over about $6.4 billion a year with 180,000 distributors in the United Kingdom. Clean Easy, if you count in your enterprise magazine or your bulletins, we've got roughly fluctuating about 800 gold distributors. 800. Okay. So let's go back to that 40 million. What's 10% of 40 million? I can hear you shouting out at your screens. 10% of 40 million, of course, is 4 million. Let's take that a step further. What's 1% of 40 million? Anybody got the answer? Okay, it's 400,000. What's 0.01% or 0.1% of 40 million? 0.1% of 40 million is 40,000. What about 0.01% of 40 million? It's 4,000. What about 0.001% of 40 million? It's 400. You see, the reality of our business is that 0.002% of the working age population in the United Kingdom has seen and taken this opportunity seriously. And I have to say that if we can increase that by a few points, then we're making a fortune. Who wants to come on that journey with us? Because the fact is, the real world is not delivering. It's not delivering on jobs. It's not delivering on investments. It's not delivering on mortgages. It's not delivering on pensions. And it's not delivering on a million other things that I haven't got time to go into. But the fact is, people out there are hurting financially. And we have to share our opportunity with them. Okay, what I want to do now is I just want to move on to just a little bit of network coaching for the last 10 minutes or so to give you just some insights of some of the things that we've learned as we've built our business part-time. Things that hopefully you can embrace and can help you move your business on. I made a little note earlier that I noticed that Danielle Lynch said, I want Miami. Okay, and I know loads of you out there want Miami, so it's an awesome destination. Let's work together to qualify. And these are some of the things you're going to need to do. The first thing you need to do is to create an environment that empowers your team. Empowering your team is massive to say, look, well, this is what we can do. This is what we can achieve together. Let's roll up our sleeves and let's get it done. I don't know if Chris Mason-Paul's on the call tonight, but I remember Chris giving an analogy many, many years back, which always struck with me, that it was after a sort of a World Cup final at Wembley Arena, whereby you would employ a guy and you give him a broom and you said, look, I need you to sweep up and get this arena cleared as soon as possible. And what I'll do is I'll double your money for you. And the guy looks at the enormity of the task and he says, look, boss, there's just no way. That is too big a task for me. And you say to him, okay, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll throw in an all expenses paid trip to Miami if you can get this stadium swept up in the next couple of hours. And the guy looks at it and he says, it's still too big for me to do. And you say, okay, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll throw in a mini incentive. If you can get the stadium swept up, look, here's your brush. Get it done in the next couple of hours. You know, we'll double your money. We'll give you Miami and we'll give you a mini. And the guy looks at the enormity of the task. And he says, I can't do it. And then you say, tell you what, I'll roll up my sleeves You start at that end, I'll start at this end, and let's get the job done together. That's creating an environment that empowers your team. Teamwork really does make the dream work, and then you've got to go to work to build the business massively. You see, you owe it to your team to be SED. Wherever you are now, if you're not qualified yet at gold, set yourself a target to move to gold, to executive, and then find yourself 5 gold distributors and become SED. And that is incredibly empowering for your team. Okay. Visualization is something that's massively important, and this has helped me over the years. When we first joined the business, at the top of our line was a gentleman called Geoff Webb. Some of you will remember the name, sadly no longer with us. Gerald passed away 3 or 4 years ago. But Geoff Webb said to me, you know, Geoff, when you go out with your catalogues and you put 100 books out and you only pick up one order for $1.99, remember that order is a customer. And if you pick up one customer a day, for the next year, you'll have 365 customers who are spending about £10 a period with you. And you know what? In my early days, that kept me going, because I knew that after 6 months, we would be on a customer-based drop. I knew that because we were taught we could flush out everybody who was going to buy from us in 6 months. Was I a great fan of retailing in those days? No. Am I a great fan of retailing now? No. Do we do it? Yes. Okay. But now we're on customer base, it's a breeze. So visualize your first customer drop. Then visualize your team getting bonuses. You know, I honestly mean this. Seeing your team getting recognized and achieving is even better than achieving and being recognized yourself. It really is. So visualize helping your team get bonuses, seeing them go across the stage at events and giving them recognition. Visualize yourself recognizing them, shaking their hand, giving them their certificate, taking the photographs. And then visualize yourself at the next step, whatever that is for you, whether it's one of the percentage levels to gold or executive or SED. Visualize it, and then visualize your certificate of income. When Pink and Jackie first joined this business, Pink and Jackie White, and we were around at their home for a coaching sort of sizzle with our upline and crossline and so on and so forth. And I went to the loo, and in Pink and Jackie's loo, there on the wall was a certificate of income written out for £10,000. At that time, they were earning about £1,800. They were visualizing that 10,000, and of course now they're way beyond it. So visualize all of these things and then expect it. Go to work and expect it to happen. It's really, really important. Now, if I've got time, I'd say to you, I want you to write down 3 to 5 reasons that you believe in yourself. These are 3 to 5 reasons that I believe in myself. And I invite you to buy into this, because the first thing I want to say to you is you are unique. You are a unique, unrepeatable miracle of creation. I get really sad when I see people with massive low self-esteem. You are unique. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. I read something recently that intrigued me, and it said that for every 3rd person is either remarkably handsome and incredibly bright, or unbelievably beautiful and incredibly genius wrapped up inside. Now, I want you to look at the next 2 people you meet after this call, and I'm sure you'll agree with me that it ain't either one of them, which means it's got to be you. And if you're that 3rd person, and you are, then that will help you understand you are unique. Another reason to believe in yourself is that others have and will achieve everything. You know, the path has been trodden before us, so why not you? Why not me? Maybe you've done it before. Maybe you've had a measure of success in your life, or you've been in clean easy for a while and you've had a measure of success and it's slipped back a little bit. Hey, it happens. It's the real world. Well, look, if you've done it before, you can pull yourself up by your bootlaces and you can do it again, because we have a choice. We have a choice every single day about what activities we're going to do and what we're going to get involved with. And we all have a specialness inside. So what about clean easy? Again, I'd invite you to write down 3 reasons why you believe in Clean Easy. Well, first of all, track record. You know, this amazing company's been around and traded in profit since 1923. We're not the latest, you know, get on board, this is, you know, ground floor and we'll be gone in 6 months. Clean Easy's got an incredible track record. It delivers. It has the most amazing future vision. You know, our leadership at HQ is just phenomenal, with Jamie and with Michael and with Lisa and all the HQ team. The vision for the future of where they're taking us, and I don't know if I should say this or not, but I hate what the heck I'm going to say it. I was having a chat with Jamie on the phone a few weeks back, and he said, my vision is to make Clean Easy the biggest network marketing company in Europe. Wow, what vision. We are second to none in compensation plan. You know, look around network marketing, there is nothing to touch Clean Easy. And in its leadership and in the rewards that we all have, like Miami and the cars and everything else. And the other reason that I believe in Clean Easy massively is that, you know, networking, to me, it's always been like the people's franchise. You don't have to have that 50K in the bank to buy a business. And it should be for the masses. But I believe, hand on heart, that Clean Easy is the only one that is, because there is no sell, sell, sell. We have everyday products that move fast. Absolutely. So, just 2 or 3 slides to finish up on. Why do you believe that you'll be on the beaches and in the cities of the world with us? Why do you believe you'll be in Miami? Or wherever it is the year after, or the year after? Here's my reasons, I believe, is that because others have and will. You know, massive congratulations to all of those of you out there tonight who've qualified to be in New York. But I say to everyone who hasn't qualified, you know what? If those guys and girls can do it, you can do it. Because you're in control. I believe we'll be on the beaches and in the cities of the world together because we have success systems. It doesn't matter who your upline is, you know, whether you're red group or blue group, who your upline SED is or your upline premier is. They've got there because they have got systems which deliver success, and all we have to do is learn and copy and duplicate those systems. You can believe in me on the beaches and the cities of the world with us because you want it massively. You do, don't you? You have to want it massively, because then when the time comes, and indeed the time has come, you will do whatever it takes, as Michael says, to get yourself into qualification. Now, I saw this next slide from Craig White, so credit to Craig, and he covered it off very briefly at the NIA, that he said you've got to arm yourself. The A stands for attitude. You have to have the right attitude, not a right attitude. Because if you've got the right attitude, then your activity will lead to results. Well, that is absolutely guaranteed. And if you get results, then you're going to have motivation. I've seen some great postings on Facebook over the last sort of couple of days where people have said, "We're going to sign in 3 people today." Brilliant, fantastic. The motivation is there, which leads to a great attitude, which will lead to more results and more motivation. And it's just, you know, it just goes on and on and on. Absolutely fantastic. So what we have to do is we have to get ourselves on a 90-day mission right now, starting tonight, as soon as this call is finished. 90 days of fun blazing a trail. Don't forget to have fun with your business. Really important. Do today, get paid tomorrow. Thankfully, I was taught this in the early days. Somebody once said to me, in network marketing, in the beginning you do a lot you don't get paid for, and in the end you get paid a lot for what you no longer do. So focus on the future and put the activity in today, but don't focus on the results, just focus on the activity. Okay, really, really important to do that. Commit to do that activity. So many people are stop, start, stop, start. You have to make sure that the activity you're committing to do, you do it consistently. You've got to be consistently consistent. You've got to get on, you've got to deal with stuff, or just put it on one side. Do the important things. Make sure that you're out there. Make sure that you're working to a really strong strategic weekly plan. I still know that there are countless hundreds of people out there, probably thousands, who are just running their business flying by the seat of their pants. They have no strategic plan for the week. They have no idea what they want to achieve. I mean, the way that Fiona and I do it is we have a weekly board meeting on a Sunday night when we make a strategic plan of everything that's got to happen in the next week. And then from that, we draw up a daily to-do list. Okay, we cannot survive without that. And on the weeks we neglect to do it, then they're the weeks we do not achieve and we're not productive. Really, really important. You see, ladies and gentlemen, at the end of the day, I've given you some ideas about reminders. As Darren Hardy said, nothing new, but I've given you some reminders of what the real world is delivering right now, and it's not a clever situation. I've given you just a few insights of my thoughts on sort of network coaching, and you know, it's only 20 minutes worth of ramblings. But really, it's not about can you, it's about will you. I'll leave you with this story. Two elderly gentlemen who hadn't seen each other for many, many years were reunited. And one of the gentlemen lived in a log cabin in the Canadian wilderness. It was absolutely beautiful. The snow was all around. There was a lovely log fire going. And the two gentlemen met up and they enjoyed a lovely meal. And they shared some fine wine, and they had a couple of cigars and brandy, and they sat and they talked and they reminisced about the old times. The old timer who lived in the cabin had a dog, and the dog was lying in front of the blazing log fire throughout the evening. And eventually the evening came to an end, and the guest, his friend, got up to leave, and he said, "I want to thank you for a wonderful evening, but before I go, there's one thing I need to ask you. And it's this. I've noticed during the course of the evening that every now and again your dog has let out a howl. Oh!" And he said, what's wrong with him? And the gentleman says, "Well, you know where he sits there by the fire, it's cozy and it's warm and it's comfortable, but sticking up through the floorboards, there's a little tack, a small nail. And every now and again it hurts him and he lets out a yowl, but it doesn't hurt him enough to do anything about it." You've got to let your spike, ladies and gentlemen, get so big that it inspires you to move, to get out of your comfort zone, to move away from the fire and do whatever it takes. Because, and I'll leave you with this, tonight at about 6 o'clock, and again, probably in about 15 minutes time, a 747 will depart from Heathrow Airport. It's a British Airways scheduled airline to New York. It's going to John F. Kennedy Airport. It's scheduled. That means it's going whether it's full of passengers or half full or a tenth full. It's going whether you're on board or not. Ladies and gentlemen, Clean Easy is going places whether you're on board or not. I sincerely hope that you want to come on board with us and you want to enjoy the journey, because believe me, it's an incredible journey. And